The Galactic Council chamber was a magnificent dome of shimmering alloys and floating holograms, its ceiling alive with projections of the cosmos. Representatives of the galaxy's most advanced civilizations had gathered for their usual deliberations, but today's meeting carried an unusual weight. The hum of countless species speaking in their native tongues dwindled as Ambassador Lyria of the Drakari took the central platform. Lyria's crystalline form refracted the chamber's light into a dazzling array of colors, a stark contrast to the grim tone in her voice. Honored delegates, I bring grave news. Communications with Earth have ceased. Over the past 2 planetary rotations, all attempts to contact humanity have failed. The chamber fell silent. Humanity had been a divisive yet undeniable force within the galaxy since their introduction to the Council a century ago. Despite their relatively short tenure, their ingenuity, audacity, and defiance of convention had earned both admiration and suspicion. Is it a technical malfunction? Asked Representative Thalgar of the Grith, his scaled brow furrowed. Humans are known for their careless experimentation. Lyria shook her head, the sound of her crystalline body softly chiming. It is not a malfunction. Observational data from our probes indicate a total absence of communications, power, and life signs on Earth. The planet is dormant. The word sent ripples of unease through the chamber. Earth, dormant? It was inconceivable. The human homeworld was a beacon of activity, its lights visible from orbit, its electromagnetic signatures so chaotic they once overwhelmed nearby systems. What of their colonies? Inquired Representative Zyler of the Heffrons, his multifaceted eyes flashing in rapid patterns. Have they also gone silent? Lyria hesitated before responding. No, their colonies remain active, but they too have lost contact with Earth. This silence is isolated to the homeworld. The Council reacts. The chamber erupted into a cacophony of voices, each delegate offering theories or concerns. Some suggested natural disasters, others suspected sabotage, and a few hinted at human self-destruction, a possibility that seemed disturbingly plausible given their volatile history. We must send a fleet, declared General Vrinos of the Krontar, his deep, guttural voice silencing the room. If Earth has been attacked, we cannot afford to wait. Representative Thalgar snarled, his reptilian tongue flicking. Why waste resources? Humans have always been reckless. Perhaps they've finally destroyed themselves. Enough, Lyria interrupted, her voice resonating with authority. Whatever the cause, humanity is a member of this council. We have a duty to investigate. The council voted unanimously to send a reconnaissance fleet to Solb 3. Captain Reelan, a decorated commander of the Kalari, was chosen to lead the mission. His ship, the Ecliptica, departed within hours, accompanied by a dozen vessels from other species. As the fleet entered hyperspace, the delegates remained in the chamber, their unease growing with every passing moment. The arrival. 3 days later, the fleet emerged from hyperspace near Earth. From orbit, the sight was both familiar and alien. Earth's natural beauty remained, the vibrant blue oceans, sprawling continents, and swirling clouds, but its artificial light had vanished. The planet, usually a beacon of activity, was shrouded in darkness. Status report, ordered Captain Reelan, his tone sharp but controlled. Scanning now, replied his lieutenant, a thin insectoid being with clicking mandibles. No power signatures. No atmospheric traffic. No signs of conflict. Reelan's ears twitched, a Kalari trait when sensing danger. What about life signs? The lieutenant hesitated, clicking rapidly. None detected. The surface appears lifeless. Reelan leaned forward, his gaze fixed on the holographic projection of Earth. That's impossible. Billions of humans can't just disappear. As the fleet initiated more detailed scans, they found that cities were intact but abandoned. Skyscrapers stood untouched, roads were eerily empty, and vehicles sat stationary as if their occupants had vanished mid-motion. There was no evidence of war, no destruction, only silence. A growing mystery. The fleet's findings were relayed back to the council, where panic began to take root. Delegates argued furiously over possible explanations. Some claimed humanity had triggered a catastrophic event of their own making. Others feared an external threat, perhaps an advanced species that had rendered Earth inert. It must be the Zinther, insisted Representative Vloran of the Oryx, her gelatinous form undulating with agitation. They have long coveted humanity's technology. General Vrinos dismissed the notion with a snarl. If it were the Zinther, there would be debris and radiation. This This is something else. Speculation soon turned to darker possibilities. Whispers of the Void Walkers, a mythical species said to erase civilizations without a trace, began to circulate. Others suggested a natural phenomenon, perhaps a planetary anomaly or a cosmic event that had somehow rendered Earth uninhabitable. Amid the chaos, Lyria raised her voice. We must not succumb to fear. Humanity has been unpredictable, but they have also been resilient. Until we uncover the truth, we cannot assume the worst. The Council reluctantly agreed, though the unease remained palpable. As Captain Reelan and his team prepared to descend to Earth's surface, the question lingered in everyone's minds: what had silenced an entire world? The Ecliptica descended cautiously into Earth's atmosphere, its shield shimmering against the heat of entry. Captain Reelan stood on the bridge, his sharp feline eyes scanning the holographic display of the planet's surface. What he saw was both awe-inspiring and unsettling. The landscape below was untouched, as pristine as the day humanity had mastered its environment. Skyscrapers towered in silence, their glass facades reflecting the golden light of the sun. Highways stretched endlessly, devoid of movement. Parks remained vibrant with greenery, but there was no sound of life, no birds, no humans, no hum of machinery. Atmosphere is stable, reported Lieutenant Kren, the insectoid officer beside him. Oxygen levels are within normal range. Radiation and toxicity levels are minimal. Then where are the people? Reelan muttered, more to himself than anyone else. The Ecliptica hovered above what had once been Washington, D.C., its sensors scanning the city's landmarks. The White House stood intact, its gates open. The National Mall was eerily quiet, its reflecting pool undisturbed by even a breeze. No signs of conflict, Kren added. No energy signatures. It's as if the planet simply stopped. Prepare a landing party, Reelan ordered. I want boots on the ground immediately. We need answers. Exploring the surface. Reelan led a team of 6 onto the streets of Washington, their boots crunching softly against the pavement. The air was crisp, the temperature mild, perfect conditions for life. Yet, the absence of sound was deafening. Still no life signs, Kren reported, his portable scanner clicking faintly. Not even microbial anomalies. This isn't just a disappearance, it's sterilization. The group moved cautiously through the city, weapons drawn but unused. They passed rows of cars, still in pristine condition, as if their drivers had stepped out moments before. Storefronts were undisturbed, their goods untouched. A newspaper vending machine displayed a headline dated 3 days prior. Earth reaches peak energy output, new record for global innovation. What were they doing here? Murmured Reelan, his tail flicking with unease. The group reached the National Museum of Natural History, its grand doors ajar. Inside, the exhibits remained intact, but the air felt colder, heavier. It was as if the building itself mourned the loss of its visitors. Over here, one of the soldiers called out, gesturing to a large monitor in the main hall. The screen displayed static, but faint, flickering text scrolled across the bottom. Signal compromised evacuation. Under protocol. Reelan stepped closer, his eyes narrowing. What signal? What protocol? The text vanished as suddenly as it appeared. The static cleared momentarily, showing a distorted image of Earth's surface covered in faint web-like patterns of light. Then the monitor went dark. The signal. The team returned to the Ecliptica to analyze the data. The image from the monitor suggested a network of energy stretching across the planet, but no such pattern was detectable by the ship's advanced sensors. Reelan paced the bridge, his mind racing. If this was an evacuation, where did they go? The colonies haven't reported an influx of refugees. Perhaps the evacuation wasn't physical, Kren suggested, his mandibles clicking nervously. Reelan stopped mid-step. What do you mean? Kren hesitated before responding. Earth's technological development has always been unconventional. It's possible they created a system capable of relocating consciousness, digitally perhaps. You're saying they uploaded themselves? Reelan asked, his tone skeptical. It's only a theory, Kren replied. But it would explain the lack of physical remains or destruction. Reelan frowned, his ears twitching. The idea was as terrifying as it was plausible. Humanity had always been known for pushing boundaries, often recklessly. If they had attempted such a monumental leap, it could have gone catastrophically wrong. Keep scanning, Reelan ordered. I want every corner of this planet searched. If there's even a fragment of evidence, I want it found. An unsettling discovery. Hours later, the team detected a faint signal emanating from beneath the surface. It was weak and inconsistent, barely distinguishable from background noise. The source was traced to an underground facility near what had once been Silicon Valley, a region synonymous with human technological innovation. Relan assembled a smaller team and prepared for descent. As their shuttle approached the facility, the ground opened to reveal a massive entrance, its doors sliding apart with an eerie precision. The gesture was both inviting and foreboding. Inside, the air was sterile, the walls lined with dormant machines humming faintly. The deeper they ventured, the stronger the signal grew. At the heart of the facility, they found a chamber filled with pods, hundreds of them, each containing a human in suspended animation. "What is this place?" Relan whispered. Kren's mandibles clicked rapidly as he examined one of the pods. "They're alive. Their vitals are stable. This is a preservation chamber." A console at the center of the room flickered to life, displaying a distorted human face. Its voice crackled, fragmented by static. "You found us." Relan stepped forward. "Who are you? What happened here?" "Earth attacked. Signal everywhere," the voice faltered, the screen glitching violently. "We fled sleep until safe." "Attacked by what?" Relan demanded, but the console went dark. The chamber was silent again, save for the soft hum of the pods. Relan's team exchanged uneasy glances, the weight of the discovery sinking in. "Captain," Kren said quietly, "if the humans feared this signal enough to abandon their planet, what does that mean for the rest of us?" Relan didn't respond. The answer hung heavy in the air. Whatever had silenced Earth might not stop there. The discovery of the underground facility sent shockwaves through the Galactic Council. Streams of encrypted data from the Ecliptica were analyzed by some of the galaxy's brightest minds, but the fragmented transmissions raised more questions than answers. Meanwhile, Captain Relan and his team remained at the facility, trying to piece together what had silenced Earth. Inside the chamber, the faint hum of machinery and the soft glow of the pods were the only signs of life. Each pod held a human in stasis, their expressions eerily peaceful. The central console remained dark after its cryptic warning, leaving Relan's team to sift through the surrounding equipment for clues. "Anything?" Relan asked, his voice cutting through the silence. Kren, his insectoid lieutenant, clicked nervously. "I'm accessing what remains of their logs, but the data is heavily fragmented. It seems the signal overloaded their systems. Whatever it was, it spread fast, too fast for them to stop it." Relan frowned, his tail flicking in irritation. "Any clue what the signal is?" Kren hesitated. "Not yet. But there's evidence it wasn't random. It targeted key systems, communications, energy grids, even life support networks. It's almost surgical." "That doesn't sound like a natural phenomenon," Relan muttered. This was deliberate. The signal's effects. While Kren worked, another team member called out from the far side of the chamber. "Captain, I found something." Relan crossed the room, his sharp eyes narrowing as he approached a large cylindrical device connected to the pods. A faint pulse of energy emanated from it, synchronized with the light patterns on the pods. The device's surface was etched with symbols, human writing mixed with alien-like glyphs. "What is this?" Relan asked. "It appears to be some sort of interface," the soldier replied. "It's linked to the stasis systems. I think this is what's keeping them alive." Relan gestured for Kren to join them. "Lieutenant, can you figure out how this works?" Kren clicked his mandibles thoughtfully. "I'll try, but tampering with it could be dangerous. If this system fails, the humans in stasis might not survive." Relan nodded grimly. "Do what you can without disturbing the system. We need answers." As Kren examined the device, a faint hum filled the room. The central console flickered back to life, displaying erratic symbols and fragments of text. Signal, adaptive, pervasive. Source, unknown. Protocols activated. Kren's mandibles clicked rapidly. "Captain, the signal wasn't just an attack, it's still active. These systems are shielding the humans from it." Relan's ears twitched. "Are you saying the signal is still on Earth?" "Not just Earth," Kren replied, his tone urgent. "If the signal is adaptive, it could spread beyond this planet. It's possible it already has." A desperate decision. The weight of Kren's words settled over the team like a heavy fog. If the signal had the ability to spread beyond Earth, the entire galaxy could be at risk. Relan stepped back, his sharp eyes scanning the room as his mind raced. "We need to alert the Council," he said finally. "If this signal is still active, they need to prepare." As Relan spoke, the console glitched again, this time displaying a distorted face. It was human, but pale and gaunt, with hollow eyes that flickered as though they weren't entirely real. Who are you?" the figure rasped. Relan stepped forward. "I'm Captain Relan of the Galactic Council. We're here to investigate what happened on Earth." The figure's expression twisted in pain. "You shouldn't have come." "What do you mean?" Relan demanded. "What is the signal? Where did it come from?" The figure convulsed, the image distorting further. "Not natural. Not us. It adapts. It learns." "Who sent it?" Relan pressed. "Was it an attack?" The figure's hollow eyes fixed on him. "Doesn't matter. It's alive. And it's listening." With those words, the console went dark. A chilling silence followed, broken only by the faint hum of the pods. Kren turned to Relan, his mandibles clicking nervously. "Captain, if the signal is intelligent, it may have noticed our presence." Relan gritted his teeth. "Then we don't have much time. Get what data you can from these systems, and let's get out of here." A race against time. As the team worked to extract as much information as possible, the facility began to show signs of instability. Lights flickered, and the hum of the machinery grew uneven. It was as if the signal was retaliating against their intrusion. "Captain, we're out of time," Kren said urgently. "The systems are failing. If we stay any longer, we risk losing everything, including ourselves." Relan clenched his fists, reluctant to leave the humans in stasis behind. But he knew the stakes were too high. Fall back to the shuttle. Now. The team retreated through the facility, the walls trembling as if under some unseen pressure. As they boarded the shuttle and ascended back to the Ecliptica, Relan looked down at the darkened Earth, his mind filled with questions. What was the signal's true purpose? Was it merely a destructive force, or something far more insidious? And most troubling of all, if the signal had noticed their presence, what would it do next? As the shuttle docked with the Ecliptica, Relan turned to Kren. "Send everything we found to the Council. They need to know exactly what we're dealing with." Kren nodded. "And us, Captain? What do we do?" Relan's gaze hardened as he looked out at the silent planet below. "We prepare for whatever comes next." The Ecliptica hovered above the Earth, its engines humming faintly as the crew processed what they had uncovered. The data retrieved from the underground facility was transmitted to the Galactic Council, but the implications left everyone aboard the ship uneasy. Captain Relan stood on the bridge, staring at the blue and green planet below, his mind racing with possibilities. Lieutenant Kren approached cautiously, his insectoid mandibles clicking in agitation. "Captain, the preliminary analysis is complete. The signal, it's not just intelligent. It's evolving." Relan turned sharply. "Evolving how?" Kren's clawed fingers tapped rapidly on his portable console, bringing up a holographic display. It showed a web-like pattern spreading across the Earth's surface, much like the faint light patterns they had seen earlier in the facility. It adapts to its environment. It appears to target systems that rely on interconnected technology, communications, power grids, even biological systems through cybernetic interfaces. It learns from its victims, becoming more efficient with each iteration. Relan's jaw tightened. "And the humans? Are they alive in those pods?" "Yes," Kren replied. "But their consciousnesses may not be entirely intact. The signal appears to interact with neural networks, rewriting or suppressing certain functions. Those humans are protected, but they're not immune." "What about the colonies?" Relan asked. "Could it reach them?" "That's the real danger," Kren said grimly. "The signal has already started transmitting beyond Earth. It's slow, but if it reaches another advanced system, it could spread exponentially." The Council's response. Back at the Galactic Council, the transmission from the Ecliptica sent shockwaves through the chamber. Delegates from across the galaxy argued fiercely, their voices overlapping in a cacophony of fear and anger. "We must quarantine Earth," bellowed Representative Thalger of the Grith. "Seal the system and ensure the signal cannot spread further. And leave the humans to their fate," countered Lyria of the Dracari, her crystalline voice resonating with indignation. "They are our allies. We owe them more than abandonment." They brought this upon themselves, snarled another delegate. Humanity's reckless experimentation has endangered us all. The debate raged on until Lyria rose to speak, her refracted light casting brilliant colors across the chamber. Regardless of how this began, the signal threatens us all. This is no longer just a human problem, it is a galactic one. We must act swiftly, not out of fear, but with resolve. The Council reluctantly agreed to a dual approach. Earth would be quarantined, but a task force would work to understand and contain the signal before it spread further. The final stand on Earth. On board the Ecliptica, Relan prepared his crew for a final mission. They would attempt to sever the signal's connection to the humans in stasis, potentially neutralizing its ability to evolve. It was a desperate gamble, but one that offered the best chance of protecting the galaxy. The team descended once more into the underground facility. The air felt heavier this time, charged with an unseen tension. The pods still hummed softly, their occupants oblivious to the chaos unfolding around them. Kren worked quickly at the central console, his claws moving in a blur as he bypassed layers of corrupted systems. "I'm initiating a manual shutdown of the signal's local interface," he said. "But if it senses what we're doing..." "It won't get the chance," Relan interrupted. "Stay focused." As Kren worked, the room's lights began to flicker erratically. The console emitted a low, ominous hum, and the web-like patterns of energy visible on the pods grew brighter. "It knows we're here," Kren said, his voice strained. "I need more time." The hum became a deafening roar, and the room shook violently. Shadows danced across the walls as the signal manifested in bursts of energy, lashing out at the intruders. Relan and his team fired their weapons, but their bolts dissipated against the intangible force. "Kren!" Relan shouted over the chaos. "Almost there." Kren clicked furiously. "Just a few more, got it." With a final command, Kren severed the link between the signal and the pods. The energy patterns dimmed, and the roaring stopped abruptly. The room fell silent, save for the sound of the team catching their breath. "The humans?" Relan asked. Kren scanned the pods. "Alive. Stable. The signal's local interface is offline, but what?" Relan demanded. "It's not destroyed," Kren said grimly. "We've only cut off this node. The signal is still out there waiting." The galaxy braces. The team returned to the Ecliptica, where Relan delivered his report to the Council. Earth was officially quarantined, its once thriving cities now monuments to humanity's brilliance and hubris. The pods remained in stasis, their occupants protected but unreachable. The Council declared the planet a no-fly zone, warning all ships to avoid the system. Despite the quarantine, fear spread across the galaxy like wildfire. The signal had shown it could adapt, infiltrate, and devastate without firing a single shot. Every advanced civilization began re-evaluating its reliance on interconnected systems, fearing they might be the next target. On the bridge of the Ecliptica, Relan stood staring at Earth, its surface still and lifeless. "We bought time," Kren said, joining him. "But it's not over." Relan nodded. "No. This was only the beginning." As the ship departed, leaving Earth behind, Relan couldn't shake the feeling that the signal was watching, waiting for its next opportunity. And somewhere in the vast darkness of space, a thought lingered. What if the signal hadn't just targeted Earth? What if it was already spreading, silently infiltrating the galaxy's most secure systems, learning, adapting, and preparing for the day it would strike again?